Masters Bank studio, by the way, and this Didi news is just, could not come at a worse time.
Didi egregious.
For obvious reasons. One, it's right before the playoffs. Two, number one, number two. Number one, number two. And number two, of course, because they just got healthy. They were just healthy. They were unhealthy the whole year. They're finally healthy and now unhealthy again, which is unbelievable.
Amazing that he actually hurts his right wrist on the slide at home to win the game the other night on Saturday.
It's such an exciting moment.
Which was an excruciatingly frustrating game.
Right, but look at Luke Voigt just jumped up like 100 feet in the air. Didi's happy. Everybody's happy. There's hugs. It's great.
Doesn't look like he got up with his wrist hurt.
No, but apparently he tore cartilage in his wrist. And this is what I don't like, is he might be out for the rest of the postseason. What? You need to be a little bit, news this big. Can we be a little bit more definitive, especially with what we just went through with Aaron Judge? Don't float out. He might be out for the postseason. You can't just do that. You know what you do is you give us, he's got this injury. He's going to be evaluated. We don't know the timetable yet. We'll get back to you. Because now everybody's got agita over this thing. He might be out. Then he says, I feel good with a cortisone shot. I don't know. I'm holding out hope. It's just everybody that had that feeling with the Yankees turning the corner because they were healthy, and then all of a sudden this team could turn on a dime like that because we haven't seen the real Yankees in months. All of that disappeared with the news with this cartilage. And it just, if it's not one thing, it's another with this Yankee team who amazingly has gotten to the record that they have, Yeah,
it does. And, and also one other thing to discuss really quickly is, the Knicks are getting ready to, head into training camp, if you want to call it a training camp. And it looks like Joakim Noah is going to be bought out through the stretch provision, depending on how much money he's going to leave on the table. And there are people out there that think that he can still get a job somewhere else, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, he may. He may.
No, he will. That's the only reason why the NBA player leaves money on the table is because he believes he could make it up and go play for somebody else.
Yeah, he'll get signed. I don't know how much of an impact he'll be on any team, but yeah, he'll get signed. But
at any point in time, are you considering trading for Jimmy Butler in the Knicks? I say no.
They're not going to do it. They flat out said they weren't going to do it.
And they shouldn't. I think they should just keep stay on this path, wait until free agency happens, see who's available, what's going on then, continue to try to develop your own younger players, and hopefully you're starting to build a foundation here that 2 or 3 years from now will start to pay dividends. Because, in the NBA, doesn't happen overnight unless, of course, they sign Kyrie Irving. But the interesting thing about the Knicks that really is kind of worth really paying attention to is the growth, the physical growth of Frank Ntilikina. He actually grew an inch and a half and put on 15 pounds.
How did he grow an inch and a half?
Well, because he was only 19 years old.
Who grows at 19, though?
Well, he does, obviously. So he's now listed at 6'6", and he put on 15 pounds. And, he's got that long wingspan. So it just takes time for players to figure it out, Mm-hmm. And I don't care what sport we talk about, and this is one of these players. You never know. 2 or 3 years from now, he may become one of the best lockdown defenders in basketball.
What are you doing to me today?
What?
You already know that I'm down, right? You already know that I'm down in the dumps.
I'm trying to give you a little positive, that's all.
And you're giving me Frank Ntilikina?
Kill yourself.
Okay,
whatever you want to do.
This is what? This is what you're giving me to cheer me up?
Because I know that
Frank Ntilikina grew an inch?
That's your team, an inch and a half.
An inch and a half?
Yes.
So to pull me out of my sports doldrums, you give me Frank Ntilikina grew an inch.
Right.
Great. Man, I tell you, if that's all I got, this is going to be a long year.
Adam in Oceanside, what's happening, Adam?
Hey, guys, good morning. Thanks for taking the call.
You're welcome.
Adam.
What's going on?
Al called me predictable this morning, and he had me on the phone. He's very feisty because I want to defend Manning, just Eli, that is.
Was he yelling at you? Was Al yelling at you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was killing me. I thought he was going to hang. I thought he was going to hang up on me, to be honest with you. He was killing me. He said, you Giant and Eli fans are so predictable. He's old. He's not good anymore. And here's what I wanted to say about Eli. Last week, you guys, maybe not so much you, Boomer, but I know you are, Gio, we're throwing a lot of dirt on the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's Pat Mahomes or even Tom Brady, but I want to say he's not the reason why the Giants have struggled, even with him behind the wheel for the past 3-4 years. And he's not the guy who's going to go single-handedly win you a football game. I just want to say he's not done. We're not ready to throw the dirt on him. And he showed that yesterday. He showed that last year in the second to last game of the season when he threw for 450 some odd yards against the defending Super Bowl champions. He's just not done. And I think it's unfair without looking at the entire team around him. And yesterday should be evidence of that.
Well, he needs to be better than not done, though, with the decisions that the Giants made heading into this season, though. Wouldn't you agree, Adam? I mean, I think that, if the standard is not done, that's not going to be good enough because they didn't draft a quarterback, and they made everything perfect around him because they thought they could make another run at a Super Bowl. And then my opinion has been based solely on the fact that I don't think he's good enough to do that any longer.
Well, listen, he yesterday played way better than not done. His passes were crisp.
Right.
They were on target. Mm-hmm. He hit the windows. He did everything very well yesterday.
He was really good. Right, and you picked out one game last year was really good.
No, but it's
one
not
game
about,
this year
it's not
is
about
really
one. Listen, in 2011, it wasn't because Eli Manning was running all over the field, throwing the ball 90 yards down the field.
It's ancient history now, though, Adam. You know, I mean, this is the problem. And I don't want those two things to continually be in the same conversation because it's not fair to anybody. I mean, what he did in those seasons was amazing, and no one's ever going to take it away from him. I'm just saying I have a problem with the Giants' approach surrounding Eli Manning with all the things that they did, saying that they could make another run with the way he's played recently in his career and at his age. So we'll see. I mean, you think he's good enough to be able to bring this team to the playoffs and compete in this very, very stout NFC, and I don't. So we'll see at the end of the year.
Go watch game tape of him from 3-4 years ago, even as far back as 2011, and you go tell me what specifically is different about his game.
Well, I know that he looks relatively the same when it comes to the way he's played, where you get some inaccurate passes and you get a game where he's really good.
But that's Eli.
But also, you got to remember, outside of those two unbelievable runs that he's had, he hasn't been all that good.
I think what also is missing here, too, guys, is the fact that they passed on a young quarterback that they could have drafted with the number 2 overall pick. Now, Saquon Barkley is living up to all the expectations. I don't care what anybody says. The kid looks great, and he's awesome, and he fits the Giant uniform just like I think Sam Darnold would have fit the Giant uniform. But when you take a look at, these are small sample sizes that we're dealing with here. We're not talking about, maybe there'll be potential Super Bowl winners and MVPs like Eli was. But, Josh Allen yesterday, Baker Mayfield on Thursday night, Sam Darnold week 1 against the Detroit Lions. All three of those guys all look like they have what it takes to be long-term successes in the NFL. But it's a small sample size. And all we were saying here for months and months and months and months and months is that the most important position in the NFL is quarterback. Did you see the excitement that Sam Darnold generated for the Jets when they had the home opener against the Miami Dolphins?
Absolutely, and the Browns.
I was just going to say, did you see the excitement that Baker Mayfield brought to the Browns? Did you see and can you feel like the excitement, even though the Bills have gotten off to a bad start, I think they're happy with their quarterback. I think when you see him leaping over Anthony Barr and doing things that quarterbacks have never done before, maybe, Cam Newton has done it. He could be their version of Cam Newton up there. Yeah. Do you think these fan bases are excited about these young quarterbacks? I would say unequivocally, yes.
Yeah, and also think about the hot and cold with quarterbacks this year, too. And that you really have to just basically say, do I think there's going to be more good than bad with this guy or bad than good? For example, Matt Stafford last night versus Matt Stafford the first game of the season against the Jets. Completely different player, right? Kirk Cousins against the Bills. Kirk Cousins against the Packers. I mean, it's just like two different players. I mean, Eli the first couple of weeks, yeah, I understand it's a team game. But a lot of this comes down to the quarterback play itself. And I still think, doesn't mean that I don't think Eli's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest things the Giants ever did. Ernie, of course, he can go to sleep at night for the rest of his life being happy about making that pick and that trade and everything that happened. But if you're going to base your entire season and the personnel decisions that you made around Eli Manning, he better be good enough to get that team to the playoffs and deep into the playoffs this season and next season, because if not, then you made a mistake in the draft, no matter how good Saquon Barkley is. And don't give me, well, you could do it again next year. You could do it again next year if you're up in the top 3 again. And you don't want that to be the case. You made free agent signings. You signed Odell Beckham Jr. a long-term deal. I mean, you did all that. You made trades to make sure that you're not up there again. So that opportunity also slipped through your fingers to get a quarterback in the top 2 or 3 picks. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I know that the Eli fans, and if I was a Giant fan, I'd be defending Eli to the tilt too. I would.
Well, not all Giant fans do that, though. Some do, not all, though. Some are frustrated. Some think that was part of the problem. But, you know, that's the beauty about what we have going on around here. You have passionate fans that either like their team or don't like their team, and they're not afraid to tell you.
Right, and I also didn't think the Giants were going to go 0-16. I thought Eli would play a good game here or there, and I think
He's got good players around him. There's no question about that. Now, I don't know what the long-term situation is going to be with Evan Ingram. You know, he got up, and it looked like he got hit in the shin, and, you know, he was, like, bending his knee on the sideline. You know, he got up and limped.
Yeah.
And then was kind of, like, bending his knee and all that stuff, trying to, you know, kind of get the pain out of there. And then he never returned. So I'm not sure about what his prognosis is. Hopefully it's not significant and that he's not going to miss a bunch of time because, you know, when he's on the field, man, you see what happens. They got all that talent out there. And, you know, even the backups, you know, are making plays now.
Yeah, and I'll give the defense credit, too. I mean, without Eli Apple, I mean, B.W. Webb was on. Will Fuller, he caught a touchdown pass, and he had some other big plays. But, I mean, it's not like they got shredded. They did not get shredded at all.
They did give up over 400 yards of total offense. They got the 2 turnovers.
That was right.
They got the 2 key turnovers in their zone.
And they were leading the whole game, which is another part of it.
Because of those turnovers.
Yeah, I know, but also, I mean, when you're up like that, you're not going to run the football as much. You're going to throw the football. I mean, I don't know. There's so much that the stats can lie in so many of these situations. I mean,
did you ever feel like yesterday? I felt like the momentum was definitely shifting in the third quarter, and that Deshaun Watson started to find his game.
Yeah, I did. I thought they were going to blow the game. Full, complete honesty, and that's why I said earlier that drive in the fourth quarter, the one that had the Saquon third down conversion and ended with the Sterling Shepard touchdown, was as impressive as I've seen the Giants all year, hands down. I mean, that was there. That
was the offense that we expected.
That was a game-winning drive in a clutch situation on the road.
Hey, I still haven't gone to the playoffs. I haven't backed off of that. I thought their first 2 games were horrible, and yesterday was finally a little glimpse of what I think the future can bring. Anthony in Orange County. Anthony, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
All right.
What's up?
Gio, man, I love you guys. I just disagree with you a little, Gio, if I could. You know, 2 points, if I could. You don't have to be in the number 1, 2, or 3 slot to have a shot as a top quarterback. As the Jets proved, I know they were at 6. They moved up to 3. There are trades that happen all the time to get you up. I know
but
you
they
have
moved up to 3. Why did they move up to 3, though?
By the
That's
way,
a bad
Anthony,
example.
when was Eli Manning drafted, by the way?
When was Eli drafted?
Yeah. What pick was he drafted with?
Well, he was number 1 by San Diego.
Yeah, okay.
Right, and then he's been your quarterback,
Right.
gave you 2 Super Bowls, and is still your quarterback. So,
yes.
I mean, you can find outliers all you want, but, I mean...
No, I know, but if I could finish, Josh Rosen was number 10 this year, right?
That's right.
He has a chance to be one of the top quarterbacks.
It's still a top 10 pick, though. I mean, if
I
you want to give me...
understand.
Listen, I'll give you better ammo for next time. Tom Brady, all right? There's better ammo. Russell Wilson, there's better ammo. I mean, if you want to actually have this argument, I mean, I don't know why I'm giving you better examples.
At one point in time, you could say Dak Prescott.
Yeah, right. Of course. That was another one.
That's right.
And what was Mahomes? They traded up to get
number 10.
So it's still a top 10 pick. I mean, a top 10 pick's a top 10 pick, for crying out loud. So I mean that to me.
It's even amazing. You know, the Bears traded all the way up to number 3 to get Trubisky.
Yeah, that's about been the only thing I've been right about this year. And I know they came back and won the game.
I know, but he's struggling, man.
He does not look good.
He does not look good.
Especially with